welcome to BhagavatSanga program. This is our Śrīmad Bhāgavatam program where we read prayers of pure devotee. The current theme is prayers of King Satyavrata Muni, and these are from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 8, chapter 24, verses 46 to 53. Today we have a wonderful devotee, His Grace Svarupa Siddhi Prabhu, who will be presenting the verses and sharing his realizations. Hare Krishna Prabhu, over to you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna devotees. Thank you for attending the evening session on Bhagavatam. Today we are going to discuss the topic King Satyavrata prayers from Bhagavatam, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, 8th Canto, 24th chapter, verses from 46 to 53. First of all, my sincere thanks to the Satyavrata Prabhu, Jaswada Mataji, Vina Mataji, and Prashant Prabhu for giving the opportunity. Even though I'm not qualified for doing these, for service purpose, I'm doing this. Please forgive me if I misspoken anything. Yeah. We'll start with pranam mantras. Om Ajnatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurinimaltam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Tapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayan Dadati Swapadankitam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavansha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunanaitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam He Krishna Karna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rushabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Piya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. The prayers from I am mentioning Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, like King Satyavrata. Satyavrata is like King Satyavrata was a very austere, pious, and a devoted king. One time happened like one time he was on the banks of the holy river called the Kirtamala, and he was standing up on the riverbed of the banks of the river, and he's doing is offering the oblations to the water. And that time he took some water in his palm. Actually, when he taking his palm, he saw like a small fish, actually small fish, and he saw the fish, and he want to release back to the fish in the water. Actually, that time the fish talked with King Satyavrata, and he said like, "Oh King, please don't release me. Actually, there are in the water so many. There are big actually those will eat me. Please." Then what he like he took it to the fish to the home, and he put in a jug. Actually, when he put in the jug, immediately in the fraction of seconds it will be like it's not fitting in the jug. Actually, it's like, "Oh King, this jug is not sufficient. Please move me in another place somewhere else." Then he moved in the well. Actually, even also after some time the well is not sufficient to the fish. Then he went to in the river. Then in the river also it's not sufficient. Then he moved to the he went back to the sea. Actually, then he went back to sea, and then fish again talked with Satyavrata. "Oh Satyavrata, again you are bringing me here. The Achilles will kill me because I don't want to stay here. Please do something." Then he come to know, he's like, okay, he's none other than he's a supreme personality of Godhead. I thought like he's a normal Jiva, but he's a supreme personality because of then he come to know. Then he come to know he's okay king. Then he felt like he started like he understood like he's supreme lord, and he is not anyone because of he says first initially within the day itself it's like it's growing like anything is like scheme like. Then he thought, no, okay, these are not a fish, ordinary fish. It's like he's a supreme personality. Then he started like think like he started prayers. Actually, what happened? There is a story like the Matsya Avatar happened twice in that yuga. Actually, the Matsya Avatar happened twice in the yuga. Actually, what happened every time when the Krishna came? Sorry. When sorry, I got- I- when this happened twice. Actually, in front of the Satyavrata, the Matyavata in form of the Matyavatara, the Supreme Person appeared in front of the Satyavata. That is second time happened. Before that also it happened once actually. Um, but what will happen? The avatars will happen like only once in the yuga. Actually, whatever not in yuga actually. When it comes to the Supreme Personality as an avatar, he will come once actually. Come before us in the form of Narasimha. He comes once only to protect the devotees, something like. But this Matya the Supreme Personality got happened twice, and when he comes and there is one Purana actually, as per the Purana, like a Vishnu Dharmaka Purana. In that Purana, you mentioned this happened and it happened in the day of the Brahma. It's happened 14 times, it appears 14 times in day of a Brahma. So there's quite interesting. We don't. Yeah, I got it from one of the class. This one. Yeah. Um, Then after seeing these Satyavrata, King Satyavrata started prayers. After seeing that the prayers actually we have two set of prayers. The first set of prayers will start from the same chapter, like 25th verse, something like. But we're not discussing the. We are going to the second set of prayers. We'll start with the verse 46. We'll start from there. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Rajavacha Anadya Vidyopahatatma Samvidas Tanmula Samsara Parishrama Yatrucha Pastayam Yamapnurvu Vimuktidana Paramo Guru Bhava. Translation is given from Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The king said, by the grace of Lord, those who have lost their self-knowledge since time immemorial and who because of this ignorance are involved in a material condition life full of miseries obtain the chance to meet the Lord's devotee. I accept that Supreme Personality of Godhead as the Supreme Spiritual Master. Here, King Satyavatra praying is telling he speaks about the situation of the conditional living entities. What will happen when the possibility of the encountering some good fortune in the shape of meeting, actually we'll meet devotees. You will meet if we got a good fortune, then only we can meet some devotees of the Lord. Generally, the situation of a conditioned living entities is miserable. By the grace of the Lord, those who have lost their self-knowledge since time is immemorial, and who, because of the ignorance, are involved in material condition life full of miseries, and your life obtain the chance to meet Lord's devotee. So the greatest fortune one can in life is that one can meet a pure devotee of the Lord. Actually, in the verse mentioned like a Parama Guru Bhavan, like a what is the representative of the Supreme Lord, a Supreme Lord will come like is nothing but a spiritual master actually. The spiritual master comes in our life like there is nothing but will give the instruction and the name of the Supreme Lord itself. Here, what do you think like there is no difference between the spiritual master and the Supreme Lord? That is mentioned Acharya Mam Vijaniyate. An Acharya who acts on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead should be understood to be as good as the Supreme Lord himself. There is no difference between the spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the reason he's saying, King Satyavrata is saying, he will actually, the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a Supreme Personal Master, he will accept the Lord, the Master. That was he mentioning here. And if you see like in a Gruvasanga, there is when we have like a Shaksha Darityena Samasta Sastre, Yuktas Tadaba Yava Eva Sabdihi, Canto Prabhu Ya Priya Eva Tasya, Mande Guru Sri Charanara Vinda. That's what will the spiritual master will come in as a Bhagavan, spiritual master coming as a Bhagavan to deliver the message of the Supreme Personal Godhead. That was his duty. The second verse is like Jana Buddho Yam Nija Karma Bandanaha Suke Chaya Karma Samhiyate Sukam Yat Sevayatam Vidinotyasan Matim Grantim Sabin Vindya Drudayam Sano Kuruhu. Translation. In hopes of becoming happy in this material world, the foolish conditioned soul performs punitive activities that results only in suffering. But by rendering service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one becomes free from such false desires for happiness. May my Supreme Spiritual Master cut the knot of false desires from the core of my heart. The second verse, King Satyavata distinguishing between the false happiness and the spiritual, the true happiness. And he's saying like in hope of become, suppose you will think like we are in the material, we will feel like we are happy. No, who will think like the foolish actually, the foolish conditioned souls performs, will actually the performs of punitive activities that result only in suffering one. What you will think like, oh, we are doing this, we will get something else, you will get because of that, you will get a happiness. That's not the thing actually. You will get a happiness is like a very tiny, when there is or the next you will you need to suffer actually because of happiness you need to suffer. But how will you get from this like you need to from coming out of this sufferings, we need to render a devotional service actually. But you need to render the Supreme Personality. To whom you need to render service? You need to like a Supreme Personality. Here mentioned like a Guru actually. You need to serve a Guru. At the same time, you need to serve the Supreme Personality. Then because of reason only, when doing this service, like you will free from the such desires from happiness, whatever the false happiness, will free from the false happiness. And King Satyavata mentioned like my Supreme Spiritual Master cut the knot of false desires from the core of my heart. So yet here in the verse is mentioned like Sevaya Tvam means so he mentioned savor actually mentioning savor or the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead actually mentioned, and consider the King Satyavata right to be true happiness because there is a second verse. Third one. Yet sevayange iva rudrarodana puman vijayan malam atmanastamaha bhajeta varnam nijam esha shobhayo bhuyasa iya paramo guru. Translation. One who wants to be free of material entanglement should take to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and give up the contamination of ignorance involving pious and impious activities. Thus, one regains his original identity, just as a block of gold or silver sheds all dirt and becomes purified when treated with the fire. May that inexhaustible Supreme Personality of Godhead become our spiritual master, for he is the original spiritual master of all the spiritual masters. Yeah. Yeah. King Satyavata talking about the process of purification of the living entity from his or material entanglement in the world and purify how, and he explained how we can purify ourselves. And he is giving the one example like in the translation, like the gold, how the gold will come from the actually we need to process the gold actually before actually we'll get it's a mud only. It's a mud, you need to process the mud in some certain temperature, you need to process the mud, then it become like a the gold. And then some you need to heat that whatever gold or silver something else, we need to heat that in some temperature level and we need to process that, then only it will become like a pure gold. Like that we also actually we need to purify ourselves. Then we need to how we can purify ourselves. Okay, like just like we need to do like whatever sadhana, depending on sadhana, we do chanting, we'll do chanting and we'll do devotional service, and that way only we'll purify ourselves. Yeah. I'll go to next. I'll go to translation and relations. Due to time constraint. Fourth was the translation. Neither all the demigods, nor the so-called gurus, nor all the other peoples, either independently or together, can offer mercy that equal even 1/10,000 of yours. Therefore, I wish to take shelter of your lotus feet. King Satyavrata distinguishing the mercy of the Lord from the mercy of the others actually is comparing like the mercy. What suppose if you have mercy, if you are getting mercy from the directly from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or mercy you are you're doing service to at the same time comparing with the devotees like not devotees like gods actually. You have gods like Indra Varna, something like Lord Shiva, Brahma, something like so worshipping them. What will happen? Like we'll get the whatever we'll get the benedictions from them. The gods also Indra and we'll get a benediction very fast. But what will happen like in the material world? Whatever the benedictions, even they are not permanent. Actually, when the one once the universe is annihilates, then they will also die. What about the what they give the benediction, what they offered by the demigods? Those are the temporary. That's why the King Satyavata mentioned like to whom you need to like worship actually. We need to and the same from whom we need to expect the mercy actually. Even he's saying if you want to expect material things, we can go with the Supreme Personality of Krishna only. No, for material religious, no need to go the demigods and we worship something. What you will get? You will get a temporary only. But if you want to go, you just everything you need to go with the Supreme Personality only. That's what he's mentioning in this verse. Because yeah, I mentioned like what do we get from them? That's a temporary. It won't be. If they are not. If they are temporary, what do we get from them? Those are also temporary. But if you go worship, what you will get? Like we get permanent happiness. Like a permanent. What you will go? Will go back. God ahead. No need to come back to this material world again. That's one. And the fifth verse. The fifth verse translation as a blind man being unable to see accept another blind man as his leader. People who do not know the goal of life accept someone as guru who is rascal and a fool. But we are interested in self-relation, therefore we accept you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as our spiritual master. For you are able to see in all directions and are omniscient like the sun. And here also he speaks about the same thing that appears many times in the Vedic teachings, and also in the Bhagavatam also. That is how it's like you discuss so many times the same concept. Like when a band, when a blind person approach the blind person, what will happen? They will go. They can't know if the blind person, how can you approach the blind person? Where will take actually? In the verse is mentioned like achakshur andasya yatagrani krutas achakshur, means even though one does not have the power of sight, unless therefore such a blind person, he means how, where will they, like he means the leader, so the blind leader, if he's approaching a blind leader, what will do? Leading the blind. No, we are putting the blind will lead the blinds. Now Prahlad Maharaj also speaks about this actually. Once like a blind man being unable to see accept another blind man as his leader, people who do not know the goal of life accept someone as a guru who is rascal and fool. And when no, even while choosing guru also we need to know about him. Without knowing anything, how can we can't like you can't select a guru without knowing actually. No, sometimes without knowing if it is something, if you know by seeing the person you can understand how the person is like. If you know still you are preferring someone is not a not in the right person, that is like you're blind, you're thinking of blind, and you're blind and you're choosing a blind person to lead you. That's not that's not our goal actually. But if you are interested in a self-realization, we need to you need to select a good spiritual master actually. Like and you mentioned like Satya, there is one example like a selecting guru, like you need to check the match actually. There is match like a comparison. Comparison if select a spiritual master and disciple, if like both are should be in the matching stage. And if anything is not works, there is no pair, it won't work at all. We'll go to the next verse. Six verses about a materialistic. A materialistic so-called guru instructs is a materialistic disciples about economic development and a sense gratification. And because of such instructions, the foolish disciples continue in the materialistic existence of ignorance. But your lordship gives knowledge that is eternal, and the intelligent person receiving such knowledge is quickly suitable in his original constitution position. Here, King Satyavrata mentioning about the materialistic gurus actually, and the same who spiritually blind, they can't guide you the disciples. There's you're talking about what they will give the message. If you're approaching a materialistic guru, will be like a materialistic one. Will think about the things only. That means they claim a materialist so-called guru instructs his materialist disciples about economic development, and other than nothing actually. They can't help us to progress in our bhakti, and we can't reach our goal actually. What is our goal? Like we need to get a Krishna prema. Then only can think we need to get a Krishna prema. We need to devotional service. By doing that, you can get the ultimate goal of our life. To attain a prema of bhakti. That's what we can't get at all. If you're approaching a materialist thing, you think like do these things. Okay, there's no problem. You can do that thing. That's not the way. You need to approach a bona fide spiritual master. That's what you mentioned here. You go to the text. You are the supreme well-wishing friend of everyone, the dearmost friend, the controller, the super soul, the supreme instructor and giver of supreme knowledge, and the fulfillment of all desires. But although you are within the heart, the foolish, because of lusty desires in the heart, cannot understand you. Here he is talking about the supreme personality Godhead. Like he's saying he's a well-wisher. Actually, we need to think about a God as our well-wisher or our friend, like our friend, and we need to think him as our instructor. In that, As in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentioned like Surudam Sarva Bhutanam Jnatma Mam Shanti Mruchiti. Krishna says, like he mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, like that understands, no? Who will understand Krishna is true and eternal well-wisher one. In the formula of peace, actually, one cannot have peace internally or externally, individually or collectively, unless one accepts the fundamental principles of Krishna being the eternal well-wisher of all living entities. And what do human beings and living entities or in general or want to making discrimination? I will make like what will as in will make a distinction between this word or you and this is mine or is yours is something like and we will make in that way we can make someone as our favorites and some people as friends and others are enemies, something like it. But Krishna mentioned like a Surudam Sarva Bhutana. We need to think everyone as our friend only. These but here what Satyavrata mentioning like there are some people who do not understand this actually, and the reason that they are not able to understand this because their hearts are full of materialistic desires. That is what he mentioning. If you have material desires nowadays, uh, you can't think everyone as our friend. You will think like you will make a distinguish between the persons, between the jiva, something like he mentioned. And the last one. Translation. O Supreme Lord, for self-relation I surrender unto you, who are worshipped by the demigods as the supreme controller of everything. By your instructions exposing life's purpose, kindly cut the knot from the core of my heart and let me know the destination of my life. And finally, the last verse is concluding Satyavrata, King Satyavrata concluding with the like a surrender actually. Must be for surrender. There is like a, in the Bhagavad like this, it's like Bhavana Janmana Ante Jnatmama Prapadyanti Vasudeva Sarvamitin Samatma Chadurlabha. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says something like that after many lifetimes acclimating, gathering knowledge, actually will come to you actually that over in that way they will come to Krishna actually. And they will think everything is a Krishna only. Then that is kind of surrender actually. Once anybody surrender to Krishna, they will think about this. This is what mentioning in this verse. Understand what surrender, what will happen is surrender like understanding me to the Lord, everything that Krishna repeated in Bhagavad Gita, we have surrender. We have to surrender, which means to follow Krishna's instructions. So this concludes the prayers of King Satyavata here. To surrender means you need to follow Krishna's instruction means what is that actually? You are thinking about these verses, all verses mentioning like a guru actually, spiritual, it's talking about the spiritual master. The spiritual master is nothing but Krishna. Sometimes Krishna himself will come as a spiritual master, and sometimes Krishna will send someone to deliver someone. He will send his devotees as a spiritual masters. Nothing but there is nothing but different with Krishna and acharyas. That's why we need to follow the instructions from of acharyas, and we need to surrender to them. Once then if we surrender, we can surrender to Krishna also at the same time. That's what he. Yeah. That's what he. That's I'll stop here. Yeah. Thank you for that. If I make any mistake, please forgive me. And if I misspoken anything, please forgive me and bless me. And I will just we'll conclude here and we'll say one time Hare Krishna mantra for Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. That was
Thank you.
such a thank you so much, Prabhu. That was such a wonderful class, and so nicely you told about the context of the prayers, and such nice realizations you shared, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Briefly, I'll just go over the 3 points that I made. The instructions given by spiritual master is non-different from the instructions given by the Lord. So spiritual master is representing the Lord. We have to be very respectful to the spiritual master. is only helping us to progress in Krishna consciousness and go back home, back to Godhead. So in this prayers, it's highlighting the spiritual master. Krishna himself is a spiritual master, and there is spiritual master as well, which is very the important part of the Krishna consciousness as well, right? Having a spiritual master. And then only by rendering a devotional service, we will come out of suffering in this material world. And how do we purify ourselves? We can do that by doing the sadhana bhakti, sincerely and seriously serving the Guru, and then doing our sadhana. And finally, Supreme Lord is our well-wisher and instructor, and he's everything for us. The ultimate goal of life is to surrender to the Supreme Lord, and surrender here means following the instructions of the Supreme Lord and living by that. So wonderful presentation, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, devotees, for joining the BhagavatSanga program today. We will see you all next week. Hare Krishna.
Thank you much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.